ahead, the median home price in Los Angeles County reached a record high last year. Property taxes also saw an increase. We will take a look at where all that extra money is headed. Stay with us. This is Inside the Issues. They call it The One, a Bel Air mega mansion with 21 bedrooms, 42 bathrooms, a sky deck, multiple pools, a private theater, a bowling alley, a billiard room, a salon, a spa, a nightclub, and a candy room. I don't even know what a candy room is, but what I do know is that it sold for $141 million, which might sound like a whole lot of money, but it's actually a deal considering The One was originally listed at nearly $300 million. This was the priciest home sale in Los Angeles last year, but just one of many which will leave the county with a hefty surplus. Joining me now with more is LA County Assessor Jeff Prang. It is great to have you back with us.
Great to be back, Alex. Thank you so much.
You're the assessor, and I know you're not a real estate guy, but given your proximity, I'm really curious, how would you describe the year 2022 when it comes to Southern California real estate?
So it started off stronger than it's finishing. The market is getting softer. We are projecting that property values across the entire county will grow on average of 5%. That's good for people who own their homes. That's good for local government and schools who depend on property taxes. Although the beginning part of the year showed a lot of the strength that was held over from COVID, it's a little bit softer now, and we believe that next year will not be as strong as this year. This year was 5% growth. Next year, we think it will still be in the black, but not as strong.
Okay, I want to break all of this down. Starting off, when you just say, you know, it's good for government, it's good for us. First of all, like, explain when you say it's good for us as property owners. What do you mean?
So if you own property, if your value went up 5% a year, that's equity that you have. And if you in your property, that's money that you can cash out and move someplace else. Be difficult to move elsewhere in LA County because the property values are going up. For local government, which depends on property taxes, it's usually one of the first or second most important sources of revenue, which pays for police and fire and hospitals and roads and parks and libraries. It ensures that government has a steady source of income to pay for those services. Next year, it'll be a little bit tighter. So my recommendation to school board members, city councils is don't overspend this year, because next year it will be a little bit leaner.
Yeah. So when you say it's going to be good for this year, tell me a little bit more numbers-wise. What is LA County potentially looking at?
So we operate on a fiscal year, July 1st until June 30th. So we call that period the 2023 assessment roll. That's where we believe that the values are going to go up about 5%. Next year, it may be 3% range. We're now actively looking at properties. There are some properties which are losing value. A lot of people who bought homes at the peak of COVID 2020, 2021, when there were the bidding wars, some of those are losing value because the median sales price of homes is dropping. Next year, we expect that to be a little bit more. Next year, we'll probably do a proactive effort to try to identify those properties that lost value, and we'll adjust their assessments and their property taxes accordingly.
And I understand, I read your forecast, and apparently there are some implications due to Prop 13. Walk us through what that means.
Well, Proposition 13, I think that's referring to the loss of value. Under Prop 13, we assess your property at the time you purchase it, and that's what your taxes are based on. But if the market value falls below essentially what you paid for it, you're entitled to property tax relief. And so that's something we will do proactively. We do proactively all the time. We'll particularly do it next year.
So was LA County there discussing, the city of LA just officially passed their budget today. County of LA is still looking at theirs. It's in the billions, right? Tens of billions of dollars. Can you give us a sense of numbers of what they might be able to expect coming out of this fiscal year in terms of property tax?
I don't have a breakdown on the city of LA, but I can tell you
that
for the county, we're expecting to generate about $20 billion in property taxes from this year's assessment roll. The assessment roll is the assessed value of all property of the county, and this year it is about $2 trillion. which means the market value is considerably higher.
Yeah. Now, you've been alluding this whole time as to what we could anticipate for the following year. You're saying a lot more tepid. That said, just this month, we were talking during the commercial break, Beyonce and Jay-Z purchased the most expensive home ever in California. Sources say they paid $200 million in cash. So, talk to me about, I feel like you're probably one of the unique assessors in this nation in that just the range of what homes go for in this county is so extreme. How do you kind of take that into the mix?
Well, there's not a lot of them. However,
Yes.
those super high prices do actually serve to kind of put their thumb on the scale of the median sales price for the county. Right now, the median sales price is close to $900,000. Adding a single home valued at $200 million will probably elevate that median sales price for the county.
Yeah. There's an interesting wrinkle to this, and this is one of those stories that I feel like is kind of flown under the radar, but I'm fascinated by it. Just spoke about it with the mayor, and that is Measure ULA, which voters passed. And basically, for homes over $5 million, they're paying more now for those real estate transactions, and it's at an even higher rate for homes above $10 million. And what I've read reports on is that up until it went to effect, there was this kind of mad sale, everybody trying to sell these high-end homes before they got taxed even more. And now that ULA's gone into effect, it seems like those high-end sales have really come to a trickle. I'm curious what you're seeing from your perspective.
So that's true. Last year, there were about, an average of 50 to 60 properties valued at $5 million or more that sold on a monthly basis. In the month before ULA went into effect, it was about 128 properties. Yeah. So it is a certainty that in real estate that if you make property more expensive, that will impact the market. So we saw a rush of property owners trying to sell their property before ULA went into effect. Then we saw a precipitous decline afterward. Now, we anticipate that the market will react to the increase in cost. It will take some time for the dust to settle and to reach a new normal.
Did it teach you any lessons about, you can set something into motion thinking, okay, we make these projections, we pass Measure ULA, and we'll be able, because this money was supposed to go to homelessness, right? This is money that people are counting on to make things happen in a situation that's become very dire here. Are there takeaways from you? Is that, okay, we as people who come up with measures or whatnot could have a great idea, but then you just never know what's going to happen?
Well, I think the one thing is that passing a measure like that is not like turning on a light switch. You don't turn the light switch on, suddenly have a whole bunch of money to spend. The market is going to react, and it is reacting. And in the short term, it could be that there's not as much money as anticipated because property owners who own $5 million plus properties are going to be very skittish about selling, and they may not sell right away. Eventually, they will have to sell, and things will return to a normal. But in the short term, it may take a little while before the anticipated revenues actually are available.
Yeah, just about 10 seconds left. We've also got an extension on taxes this year because of wet weather in much of California. Do you think that's going to have a big impact? People paying a little bit later?
That's on their income taxes. The property taxes are still due the same as always.
Yes. Keeping things running right on track. LA County Assessor Jeff Prang, really appreciate your time here with us tonight. Thank you so much for dropping by.
Great to be with you.